Good morning. It's day 84. This is part one. And of course, the big news is Trump calling Peter Strzok a treasonous act, these texts. Well, the first thing that Trump should do is publish the rest of the texts because right now it looks like he's overreacting to the FBI. But I think what you're going to find, as I've said from the very beginning, I mean the first day I saw this, was that Peter Strzok, or Strokes, I'm going to just go back to Peter Strokes, it's more fun. Peter Strokes is a shared Dropbox. Why do I say it's a shared Dropbox? Because in any type of law enforcement situation where you have a geographically dispersed group of, let's say, one counterintelligence agent in Los Angeles, one in Miami, one in Little Rock, one in Washington, D.C., one in Boston, one in New York, etc. And that team grows and grows over time. If you're infiltrating, if you're going to make up a story like this whole dossier story, you need to be synchronized. You need to be synchronized. You think of synchronized swimming in the Olympics. You need to be synchronized with your story. If you're going to make up stories, you have to be synchronized. The best way to be synchronized is a shared Dropbox. The other reason I believe that is just look at the spy team they put in Congress with the Awans. Again, a shared Dropbox. We have Debbie Wasserman Schultz saying there's a shared Dropbox. We have Imran Awan using mail.house.gov until after he's arrested, all the way till his trial date. It is the methodology, and it is BlackBerries, secure BlackBerries, using a shared Dropbox. This is why Trump just needs to push and declassify those emails. Start with one email of Andy's Anthony Weiner's trusted staff. That will tell you that it's the Awans, and then it'll make the connection between Anthony Weiner, and the Awans. And then just take the tape off the 18 or 19 State Department people that were using Gmail. Then this whole thing will come out. The FBI flow to the DNC, to Podesta Group, to Fusion GPS, to all the downstream people in CrowdStrike and all the other FBI-alike groups that have been created. And this whole thing is just really one counterintelligence operation that's been divided and busted into a lot of different pieces to confuse people. It's harder to put together in people's mind, but it's really one continuous, synchronized counterintelligence operation. Remember, the division he's in is counterintelligence. It's a 20-year-old name. Strzok looks like a 20-year-old picture. And you have to look at the fact that he's married to Melissa Hodgman, and Melissa Hodgman never changed her name when she married him 20 years ago, and she didn't change the name of any of her kids, ever. So what leads anybody to believe that this guy was only an FBI agent for maybe a few years, and they're just using that shared Dropbox still 20 years later? This started 20 years ago, and they're still using that shared Dropbox 20 years later. And I remember messaging when it first came out in the late 90s, and this was all the rage, and they just have never changed it. They are still using BlackBerries at the FBI.